Holy City Center Radio, it is episode 151, and I am your host, Christian Sanger. Today is Wednesday, July 26th, 2023. July, almost over. The week, almost over. This is ridiculous. We're just flying through this year, this summer, and on the lower level this week. I can't believe we're already about midway through. We're almost at the weekend. It's almost August. I mean, if you step outside, you can definitely tell. But yeah, this is close to August. It's been very hot and humid, as you all know. But just, every once in a while I stop and look at a date. And I'm like, man, it feels like we just started this month. And it keeps on flying by. Doesn't hurt that I've had a nice little summer with the trip and visiting my family and going to shows and things like that. But man, still blowing my mind here. But enough about that. Not much else going on here in Holy City Centerland. Week has been pretty quiet. No events that I've attended over the last few days, but maybe some as the week goes on. We'll see. I'll be sure to fill you in on the next podcast. Other than that, I guess it's time to get into the news. Another earthquake has shook the Charleston area. And, we had that run earlier this year where it felt like every day there's these little tiny earthquakes that were being recorded, pretty much out in the Somerville area and, maybe a couple of the neighboring towns. It kind of seemed to quiet down a little bit, but we had another one that just happened Monday afternoon, actually. The U.S. Geological Survey recorded a 2.5 magnitude earthquake nearly 4 miles beneath the Earth's surface at about 1:45 p.m. Again, this was on Monday, and this happened near Ladson and Somerville. It is actually the 11th confirmed earthquake in South Carolina so far this year, that according to the Department of Natural Resources. And believe it or not, this actually surpasses South Carolina's average of 6 to 10 earthquakes per year. So we're already over our average per year. And as I mentioned at the top, we're almost in August. There's still plenty of time to go in the year. Previous to this earthquake, the last one occurred in Kershaw County back on June 20th, not too far from Columbia. And all these earthquakes, it should be noted, have all been relatively small. There really hasn't been any, uh, a couple people may have reported feeling, a little bit of some tremors or something, but these are very, very low magnitude. So no damage or anything, really worth noting that has occurred during any of these. But it's always interesting to hear these reports of earthquakes, even if they're small, just to remind us that, hey, there is a very big and devastating earthquake that has happened in South Carolina, but specifically Charleston's past. Now, it's been a long, long time since that earthquake. I believe, I'm going to double check this, but I believe it happened in 1886. Yes, that's correct. 1886 was a big earthquake. It was on August 31st at 9:50 p.m. Did a lot of damage. Obviously, part of that is just the times, being 1886, things weren't exactly built to withstand earthquakes. It wasn't something that was really prepared for, at least not anywhere near as much so as today. But even so, if we were to get an earthquake of that magnitude, 6.9 to 7.3 magnitude is what the estimate is, no real way of knowing. We would still see a whole lot of damage. And these little quakes just remind us that, hey, you never know. We have some fault lines below us, and you just never know when something like this could happen. Just small reminders that it has happened before and could certainly happen again, not to get everybody all scared or worked up over it, but that's why these things are worth reporting. And the fact that we are over the average for the year is interesting. Does that mean really anything as it concerns to us, or not really? So far, including that run we had at the beginning of the year, no one, as far as scientists and professionals, really seem to say what this could indicate. So no impending danger by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, you just never know. And in case you were wondering, according to the DNR, there's been nearly 90 earthquakes that have been detected in the state since 2022. So we got a pretty decent amount. Again, no big ones, just little ones, but it's just something to keep an eye on and just be aware of. All right, we have an update on that James Island hit and run story, or at least that is what is being alleged that is a hit and run. Police have not given an official statement yet, or I should say, they haven't given an official report on what exactly happened, but we'll get to that. Let's rewind a little bit. You may remember this case happened on James Island back on June 21st. Jen Drummond was found lying by her driveway on Woodland Shores Road. She had some injuries. She was not really responsive. She was found by another motorist. It was very early in the morning, I believe in the 5 a.m. range. And it was unclear what exactly happened. The speculation was that she was hit by a car. It made sense. It was dark out. Um, she was found lying near the road, and it was also a road that has been having meetings, or there's been meetings about this road, I should say, in James Island about getting a sidewalk on this road because people have mentioned that it has been dangerous. And even though there's a low speed limit, a lot of motorists, according to people who live there, are not really following it. And so, and it was odd that they were talking about this sidewalk and then the accident happened. They already had like a meeting in place to continue discussing it. So it wasn't because of this accident, it was already something in the works. Now, that's the expectation, but investigators with the sheriff's office say they're still working to determine what exactly caused her injuries. But her attorneys are saying she was struck by a vehicle. So the attorneys feel very, very strongly about that. The investigators have not given the official word yet. So, what is the latest update? Well, we're about to find out. Today, Wednesday, her attorneys, Jen Drummond's attorneys, are going to be holding a press conference to provide some updates on the case. So, we'll see what they say and then if there's any comment from law enforcement on that as well. They said in a press release that they are going to provide a detailed timeline of events. They also plan on using a frame by frame moving video to kind of show how they put this timeline together and provide some backup to this timeline they are providing. And we'll see what else they may have come up with that. Maybe they have identified a vehicle that they feel may have been responsible for her injuries. We'll certainly find out. Press conference starts at 10:30 a.m. Again, that's today on Wednesday, July 26th. ABC News 4 has said they will cover it live. You can go to their website. There's a story in the show notes here that you can click on. They're going to have the video live on that post, or you can just simply go to their Facebook page around 10:30 a.m. and check out that live stream, and perhaps it'll be up after that as well. And of course, after the press conference, I'm sure multiple news outlets and hopefully Holy City Center will be included in that. We'll have an update for you on what exactly they said, and you know, maybe we'll have some more information. We're getting closer to answers to what happened. An Avenger has just bought into a Charleston company. That's right, a superhero has some ties to the Holy City now. Two-time Academy Award nominee Jeremy Renner this past Sunday announced that he is now a part owner of the Charleston-based spirit called Sweet Grass Vodka. The actor made the announcement on Instagram from his home in Nevada. And, this announcement, you may remember, Jeremy Renner was in a very horrific snowplow accident on New Year's Day. It was unclear if he was going to live. He certainly has had a long road to recovery. It's been 8 months since that accident, and it seems he is doing well and making progress. And now that he is moving forward, he finally made this announcement, involving a local company. He said in part of the announcement that he's grateful for the progress he's made, which has allowed him to move forward with his interest in Sweetgrass Vodka. He also said their mission is rooted in community and shared experience, which is why the second I tried it, I knew I wanted to become a part of it. According to the local company, they said there are plans underway for a cross-country appearance by Renner that would also include a bottle signing tour. I'll certainly keep you updated on that if the actor ends up coming here to Charleston. So Jeremy Renner, as I alluded to, he is pretty well known for being part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He plays Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye. He's been in several movies and even had a series on Disney Plus based on his character, and may show up in future Marvel properties as well. We'll see what happens there. But in any event, yes, he is now part owner as he's invested in Sweetgrass Vodka. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's a fairly new brand, and your best chance of seeing it is downtown at the Refinery, that new event space that also includes an amphitheater. They actually have a tasting room there. They call it the Sweetgrass Lounge. and it offers you the opportunity to relax indoors, try the vodka. They also have some cocktails that you can indulge in and, just enjoy the refinery at 1640 Meeting Street Road. So you can go check it out if you're interested. But yeah, this new product, it's only been around for a few years, but is already making waves, not just locally, but nationally. So it is a vodka that was created by Jared Swanger and his wife Alicia Swanger. They founded this what do they say is 100% potato vodka with their Polish family recipe. It is distilled and sourced locally here in South Carolina. They say there's no artificial ingredients or gluten in their product. In 2021, it won a Master Award in three separate categories for Organic, Micro Distillery, and Smoothest, as well as Best Premium Distillery. Then in 2022, it was crowned the Best Domestic Vodka by the 50 Best. And most recently, it won a gold medal at the 2023 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. So this vodka means serious business. And I went and saw their lounge when I don't think it was when they opened, but they were kind of like reintroducing it to the community. It was one of those properties that I think, kind of got lost in the mix of that COVID, post COVID kind of blur. And so they invited some media and influencers and stuff to an event there. And it was a nice space. And the folks that I knew and was chit chatting with while I was there, they seemed to really enjoy the product. And an interesting thing, there is sweetgrass in there's just one little blade in each bottle. I'm assuming that is still the case. It was back then. So yeah, if you purchase a bottle, there's actually a little blade in there. So in any event, if you haven't tried it or not, we've got a Marvel superhero on board now, and so that could make things interesting. Like I said, with some potential visits here in town, but it is winning awards and maybe worth checking out if you are into vodka and imbibing. And like I said, you can do so at their downtown location at the refinery. And lastly, we've got some music news. This is one that is certainly making the rounds on social media, and people seem to be excited about it. And my post is getting shared quite often or getting some reactions. But the country music icon, Willie Nelson, will be making a stop here in the Charleston area in the fall. Specifically, you can catch Willie Nelson and family perform at the Firefly Distillery starting at 7 p.m. This will be on October 19th. Tickets go on sale this Friday, which is July 28th at 10 a.m. However, pre-sale options are already underway. So, depending on what venues and musicians you've signed up for newsletters and things, certain credit cards, I don't know all the different pre-sales that are available for the show, but you know the routine. You'll get emails if you say you're on Willie Nelson's email list. Perhaps they'll send something to you saying, "Hey, pre-sale for fan club members or newsletter subscribers or whatever starts on this date." So keep an eye on those things, or maybe you get Firefly's email. There might be a pre-sale code in there, perhaps, and maybe you can pick up tickets before they go on sale to the public on Friday. And man, Willie Nelson just keeps on going. You may have missed it, but he recently celebrated his 90th birthday, and he had a big celebration at the Hollywood Bowl out in California. Tons of musicians from all different genres participated and performed. I don't know if it's out, like for renting or purchasing online, but there was like basically a documentary made about this big celebration. I know that had a small release in some theaters, but I don't know if it's made its way yet to, like I said, to streaming platforms or anything for you to purchase, rent, or stream. But if you're a big fan, that might be something you'd want to see as well. But again, tickets on sale Friday if you don't have a pre-sale option, which, as I mentioned, is already underway. But I figured a few listeners may be interested, since he's such an iconic musician, even if maybe you're not the biggest country fan, this is a good chance to see him live and in person. And Firefly is such an interesting venue because it's just a big outdoor open space. You would think, an artist like him, you might think, oh, maybe the Performing Arts Center in North Charleston, maybe the Music Hall, but at least he should be able, to get a venue. Like I said, like the North Charleston Performing Arts Center or the Credit One Stadium on Daniel Island, like a pretty big crowd. But going to Firefly, it still can get plenty of people in there, don't get me wrong, but just not the venue I would have thought of. Nothing against the venue, nothing wrong with it. But generally, someone with this kind of name recognition, you'll see at, some of the more traditional venues that host concerts, with seating and could potentially bring in a lot more people and therefore a lot more money for the musician. But it's Firefly Distillery, and it should be really cool. Hopefully on October 19th, that evening will be nice weather and you can enjoy being outside and hearing some tunes. So again, tickets on Friday if you don't have a pre-sale option. That'll do it for this episode of Holy City Center Radio. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Holy City Center or holycitycenter.com/shop, where you can pick up some merchandise. You can also help by rating, reviewing, liking, subscribing, or anything else that you can do on the streaming platform you're currently listening to this podcast on. Please do any and all of those things. It will certainly help me out. Big thank you to Tyler Boone, whose music you hear in each and every episode of Holy City Center Radio. And also thank you to Cole Collins for producing this with LMC Sound System. Can't wait to talk to you on Friday. I'll be excited because it's the weekend, and I hope you will be too. But until then, good night and good luck.